Watch your yard the next time it rains. 1 second, birds everywhere. Cardinal on the feeder, chickadees moving through the maple, robin crossing the lawn. Then the first drop hits, and in under 60 seconds, the yard is completely empty. No flutter, no movement, no sound, like someone pressed a switch and removed every living thing from the scene. Where did they go? Most people say they took shelter somewhere, and then they go back to their coffee and think nothing more of it. But that answer hides something extraordinary, because every single bird that just vanished from your yard didn't go just somewhere. It went to a specific place, a place it chose deliberately, a place it has used before, a place it knows better than you know any corner of your own home. And what some of those birds are doing in that place right now, pressed together in the dark, sharing body heat, truce declared, territorial rules suspended, is one of the most unlikely things happening in nature today. Your yard isn't empty. You're just looking at the wrong layer. Welcome to Bird Mind Theory. The first thing to understand is that birds don't all go to the same place when a storm hits. Each species has its own architecture of shelter, chosen based on body size, predator profile, and feeding behavior. And the decision wasn't made when the rain started. It was made weeks ago. The northern cardinal goes to dense evergreens, spruce, juniper, arborvitae. He pushes 4 to 8 feet deep into the needles and tucks against the trunk on the leeward side, the face pointing away from the wind. That brilliant red color, which makes him so visible on a sunny day, becomes surprisingly effective camouflage in deep evergreen shadow. He doesn't move, he doesn't call, he waits. The black-capped chickadee disappears into a cavity, an old woodpecker hole, a gap in tree bark, a knothole in a fence post. The cavity has to fit almost exactly, and that precision is not accidental. In a tightly fitted space, a chickadee's own body heat warms the trapped air within minutes. Heat loss drops dramatically. In a cavity that fits like a glove, a 12-gram bird can survive a night that would kill it in the open. In a cavity too large, the same bird loses heat faster than it can generate it. Titmice, nuthatches, and downy woodpeckers are all cavity birds, and they return to the same holes year after year. The blue jay, too big for a cavity, finds a thick branch deep inside the canopy, close to the trunk, where layered leaves above act as stacked umbrellas. His feet grip automatically. He doesn't fall. He simply waits, completely still, in a spot that to anyone walking underneath looks like nothing at all. The Carolina wren, whose Latin genus name, troglodytes, literally means cave dweller, vanishes into brush piles, fallen logs, root tangles, anywhere small and hidden and out of the wind. Every species, a different address, all of them chosen long before the storm arrived. Occasionally, during lighter rain, you'll catch a bird in the open, a sparrow on a fence wire, a dove on a branch, and something about the way it's sitting will look slightly wrong, compressed, tight, almost pointed. That posture is not random. It is one of the most precisely engineered survival positions in the animal kingdom, and it has been documented across hundreds of species worldwide. The head pulls back into the shoulders, reducing exposed surface area, conserving heat. The bill points directly into the falling rain, minimizing the cross-section that water strikes, the same principle that shapes the bow of a ship. And the feathers do something counterintuitive. When a bird is cold and dry, it fluffs up. Puffed feathers trap air, and trapped air insulates. Same principle as a down jacket. But in heavy rain, fluffing would be a death sentence. Puffed feathers fill with water instead of air. The insulation collapses instantly. The bird starts losing heat far faster than it can generate it. So in rain, the bird does the exact opposite. It slicks the feathers tight against the body, creating a layered, shingled, water-shedding surface. Water rolls off rather than soaking in. The bird looks compressed and uncomfortable. It is actually performing a finely calibrated thermal management routine that keeps it alive. If you ever see a small bird sitting in the rain, looking sleek and almost pointed, it is not suffering. It is working. While everything else in your yard hides, two species do something completely different. And what they do reveals how differently individual birds experience the same storm. The American robin doesn't shelter from rain. It hunts in it. The moment a heavier shower begins and the soil saturates, earthworms come to the surface, not to escape drowning, but because oxygen can no longer diffuse efficiently through waterlogged soil and worms breathe through their skin. The surface becomes the only place they can breathe. The robin knows this. It has waited for this. An adult robin working wet ground can pull 20 earthworms per hour from the surface. The rain that sends every other bird into hiding is, for the robin, the most productive foraging window of the entire day. The hummingbird is the other surprise. By every physical calculation, a hummingbird should not be able to fly in rain. Each raindrop is a significant fraction of its body weight, and yet it keeps going. Researchers who filmed hummingbirds hovering in heavy artificial rain found that the birds adjusted mid-flight, pitching their bodies almost horizontal, increasing wing beat speed, shedding water as they flew. They do this because rain refills flowers with nectar, and the competition is sheltering. When every other bird in the neighborhood is grounded, the hummingbird at your feeder is feeding through weather that has cleared the sky of rivals. Same storm, completely opposite strategy, both working perfectly. Now here's the part that most people find genuinely hard to believe. Think about the chickadees at your feeder during summer. They chase each other. They scold. They defend specific branches like property. They would not voluntarily share space with another chickadee if they had any choice. On a severe winter night, during a storm, during a hard freeze, those same birds pile into a single cavity together and press their bodies against each other to survive until morning. This is called cavity stacking, and it happens across multiple species. Eastern bluebirds, winter wrens, red-breasted nuthatches, all documented roosting communally in a single cavity during severe weather. Bluebird groups sometimes reach 20 or more individuals sharing a single nest box. Research shows communal roosting can reduce individual energy expenditure by 20 to 30% compared to roosting alone. For a small bird running on a few hours of stored fat, that margin is the difference between waking up and not. An English garden once produced a record that still circulates among ornithologists. A nest box measuring roughly 4 by 4 by 5 inches was found to contain 61 wrens after a bitter night. 61 birds, in a box smaller than a shoebox, discovered only when someone opened the door at dawn and the entire living mass of feathers exploded outward. The birds don't use communal roosts casually. They use them because the alternative is worse. The territorial rules are suspended. The math becomes brutally simple. Stay separate, freeze, share the cavity, survive. The chickadees that chased each other off the feeder all summer are sleeping pressed wing to wing in a hollow above your yard right now. And you have walked past that hollow 100 times without knowing what happens inside it on the coldest nights. Here's the part that changes everything. Long-term studies tracking individual birds across their lifetimes have found something remarkable about where birds go during storms and where they return to afterward. The same individual bird returns to the same exact shelter location year after year. Not the same neighborhood, not the same tree, the same spot. And the precision increases with age. The older the bird, the tighter the radius. This means the chickadee that sheltered in your yard during the last storm is very likely the same chickadee that will shelter there during the next one, in the same cavity, in the same posture, facing the same direction. It knows your yard in a way that should be genuinely humbling. It knows the leeward face of your fence. It knows the dense interior of your spruce at exactly 4 feet off the ground. It knows which knothole in which tree fits its body to within a centimeter. It knows these things the way you know the layout of your kitchen in the dark, without thinking, without searching, from pure accumulated experience. You have walked past its shelter 100 times. You have raked leaves within feet of where it disappears on stormy nights. You have pruned the branches 2 feet above its cavity without ever noticing the opening below. The map is invisible to you. To the bird, it is the most familiar thing in the world. So the next time the rain starts and your yard empties in under a minute, stop. Don't walk away from the window. The cardinal didn't disappear. He's in the spruce, 4 feet from the trunk, on the side facing away from the wind, in exactly the spot he used the last time and the time before that. The chickadee isn't gone. She's inside a cavity that fits her like a glove, body heat already warming the trapped air, feathers slicked tight, waiting out the storm in a hollow she has returned to for years. The robin isn't sheltering at all. She's already on the lawn, moving toward the saturated soil, knowing exactly what the worms are about to do. And somewhere in the dark interior of a tree above your yard, birds that fought each other off the feeder all summer are pressed together in a truce that only the cold can create, sharing heat, suspending territory, surviving the night by the simplest math there is. Your yard isn't empty when it rains. It is full, in ways you were never told to see, in places you have never thought to look. The storm didn't clear the yard. It just revealed how little of it you were actually seeing. If this changed how you see your yard during a storm, subscribe right now, because this is exactly what this channel does every single week. Go outside after the next rain and actually look. Into the spruce, into the brush pile, into the places you normally walk past, and then come back and tell me in the comments what you found. I read every single one. And share this with someone who watches birds from their window, because after this video, they will never see an empty yard the same way again.